A very good morning to all of you. I, Suman Yadav, on behalf of Department of Electrical Engineering, NERIST, cordially welcome you for 5 days faculty development program on electric vehicles. The program is sponsored by AICTE Teaching and Learning Center, New Delhi, and is the third ATAL faculty development program organized by our institute under the thrust area of engineering. If we are to achieve all of the sustainable development goals, more needs to be done, and evolution of electric vehicle is a pathway to the future we want for all. Keeping that as a note, let us proceed further and witness the ceremony. Now, I request all the dignitaries to come over the stage and take their honorary seats. I request Professor Pradeep Limpa sir, Dean, Students Affairs, to please felicitate the Director in charge, Professor M. Murlidhar, with a traditional khada and a moment. Thank you, sir, for your kind gesture. Now, I request Professor S.K. Bhagat, Head of the Department, Electrical Engineering, to please felicitate Dean, Student Affairs, Professor Pradeep Limpa. Sir, for kind gesture. Now, I invite the Program Coordinator, P. Devachandra Singh sir, to felicitate Professor S.K. Bhagat, HOD, Electrical Engineering Department. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank all of you for accepting the token of love and gratitude from us. Now, I request P. Devachandra Singh sir to kindly formally welcome the dignitaries and participants and brief us about the FTP.
Hello, good morning, one and all. Honorable Director, NERIST, Professor M. Murlidhar sir, Dean Student Affairs, Professor Pradeep Limpa sir, Head of Department, Electrical Engineering, respected S.K. Bhagat sir, and respected Professor K.K. Sasi sir, who is joining from the distance in online and will be the first speaker of this FTP. learned faculty members, staff members, and most importantly, all dear participants who have connected us from various parts of the country. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, extend my heartiest welcome to one and all. This FTP on electric vehicles, sponsored by AICT Teaching and Learning Academy under the third area of engineering, is third of its kind in our institute. I would like to acknowledge AICT's chairman, Dr. Sahasrabuddhe Sir, Director ATAL, Dr. Ravindra Soni Sir, and ERO ATAL Academy, Guwahati, Dr. Bhupendra Goswami for this opportunity. Electric vehicles can play a vital role in reducing carbon emissions and conserving our degrading environment by replacing the conventional ICE vehicles. The FTP aims at understanding the basics of electric vehicle systems, including the drive system, the battery storage technologies, chargers, communication infrastructure, present scenario and implementation policies, etc., and a few hands-on sessions. So I would like to welcome all the experts for finding out valuable times to be with us. I hope the expectations of the enthusiastic participants are not compromised. We will try our level best to fulfill the objectives of the FDP. With these few words, I welcome you once again in this 5 days FDP. Thank you all. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your kind information on the program, which is really going to help us in attaining sustainable environment in the future. Now, I would like to invite Professor S.K. Bhagat, Head of the Department, Electrical Department, to give a brief information about the branch.
Good morning, one and all. I'm Professor Bhagat from Electrical Engineering Department. Right now, I'm heading the department, and the course on electrical vehicle is being run by the same department, that is Electrical Engineering Department, and the course coordinator is the P. Dev Chandra Singh. Now, in this occasion, I'd like to welcome, first of all, our director in charge, Professor Muralidhar, Dean Student Affairs, Professor Lingfa. Now, I'd like to give you the brief about our department. Our department was established since the institute was came in picture, that is in 1986, and first batch was produced in 1992. Since then, the department is doing very excellent job. Our department is having right now 16 faculty members. Out of that, one is on Lien, and out of that, we have 9 faculty members are having PhDs, and 6 are the professors, 2 are the associate professors, and rest are the assistant professors. Among assistant professors also, we have 3 PhDs. Then we have 13 laboratories, well-equipped laboratories, where our students are doing the practicals based on the theories being taught. Further, the most important thing is our department is currently accredited till 2022. It was done in 2016, then for 2 years, 2016 to 18, then extended up to 1 year, that is 2016 to 2019. Then it was extended from 2019 to 2022. Now, we have a state-of-the-art facility in the laboratory also, so that our research scholars, MTech as well as the PhD holders, they are PhD scholars, they are doing the research, they are producing the papers of good quality for teachers also, they are producing the papers of good quality, and overall the department is doing very well. And so far NBA is concerned, we got the NBA due to the effort of all the faculty members and staff members coming together. I hope this course on electrical vehicles that will be beneficial for the candidates who are joining offline and along with the online. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now, I request Professor Pradeep Limpa, Dean, Student Affairs, to share a few words with the participants.
A very good morning to one and all. Most respected Chief Guest, Professor M. Muralidhar, Director in charge NERIST, Professor Bhagat, HOD Electrical Engineering Department, NERIST, resource persons of this 1 week FTP programs on electric vehicles, Mr. P. Devchandran, the coordinator, and his entire team, HODs, HOCs, most respected the learned participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Electrical Engineering Department headed by Professor Bhagat, and especially the P. Devchandran, who is organizing these very important and useful FTP programs. We all know that the world is facing two problems today. The first one is the finite reserve of the fossil fuel. The second problem is the environmental pollution. Around 60 to 70% of the electricity, the energy requirement is made from the fossil fuels. The fossil fuel like coal, oil, and the natural gas. Different scientists and researchers has estimated that these fossil fuels are not going to be, they are going to be depleted one day. They have estimated like coal maybe 218 years, oil maybe around 50 to 60, and gas also maybe in that around 50 to 60 years. Day by day, the demand is increasing, but the supply is limited. Even if the new exploration carried out of these fossil fuels, but it is very difficult to meet the demands. So there is a need for the alternative source of energy, clean energy. Another important problem is the environmental air pollution. 60 to 70% of the pollutions, air pollutions, CO2, unburned hydrocarbon, NOx, smoke, especially the particulate matters, they are coming from the transportation sector. That is the biggest threat, especially the CO2. If the populations of vehicles are keep on increasing, obviously there is charges for CO2 to keep increase. And this is one of the main greenhouse gas for the global warming. Then the reserve of oil also are limited. 50 to 60 to 70% oil we are importing from other countries, oil exporting countries. So indirectly we can say that our economy is being controlled by others. So there is time for us to retrospect, to be self-reliant, and as per India's vision and missions, Atmanirbhar Bharat. We should have self-sufficiency. When in other way we do have different resources, maybe renewable energies like solar, wind, hydro, biomass, biogas, why not to explore this clean energy? Beside this, the electric vehicles as this one-week training program which is organized by the electrical department, and it is one of the most useful, clean, zero emissions. So this electrical vehicle one-week training program, I think it will be immense benefits to the participants, as the alternative source of energy is not like we have a biofuels, dual fuels, hybrids, electrical vehicles, fuel cells. So like in biofuels, we have two fuels, like your gasoline, petrol as your pilot fuel, and CNG and other gases as your main fuel. Similarly, dual fuels, the diesel fuel as a pilot fuel and NERIST biogas as the main fuel, like CNG, LPG, LNG. So if we go for example, the combination of the biodiesel and NERIST biogas, then it will be 100% eco-friendly, zero emissions, or you can say it will be less emission would be there. Similarly, fuel cells, hybrid vehicles. So there are many alternatives. Out of these electrical vehicles, nowadays also in many countries are using the electric vehicles. The most important thing is that it has a zero emissions. And performance also is more or less close to the conventional internal combustion engines. But however, there are certain issues and challenges in the electric vehicles which need to be rethink, discussed, debate, and this is one of the best platform where the issues, like there are some issues like the fuel charging times, economics, and storage battery, lower energy density. Many things in-depth studies required to go to the market. It has to be cost effective. So there are many issues and challenges which need to be discussed and debate. And I hope during this 1 week in FTP programs, those issues will be discussed and some concrete solutions and some of those things will be come out. And I hope that with the 1 week training program, our participants will learn a lot. And with this knowledge, it will not only benefit for you as a participants, as a faculty colleagues, but to the students, to the institute, and society as a whole. So with this few words, last but not the least, I would like to thank the organizing committee of this FTP program for inviting me as a part of this inaugural program. And I give my best wishes for successful conduct of this 1 week training program. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind words, sir. I'm sure that participants will definitely get benefited and cater the society with new ideas and innovation in the development of electrical vehicles. Now, I request Professor M. Muralidhar, Director in charge, to kindly address the gathering and shower a few words from his valuable speech.
Very good morning to all of you. My esteemed colleagues on the dais, Professor P. Lemfazi, Dean, Students Affairs, Professor S.K. Bhagatji, HOD, Electrical Engineering Department, Dr. S.K. Tamang, and Dr. P.D. Singh, coordinator of this program, land staff members, and the experts of this program, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this 5-day or 1 week FDP on electric vehicles. I congratulate the electrical department for organizing such a latest technology and disseminating this knowledge to various participants, not only in NERIST or the Arunachal Pradesh, in different parts of the India and globe. So this is one of uh, our department, electrical department is also recognized by the NBA, National Board of Accreditation, as the HOD mentioned, for up to 2022. So this type of programs, they are organizing earlier also several programs, and that made the department recognized at a national level as well. I congratulate all the department and experts in electrical as well as mechanical, Tamang, so they actually participating in that. And various experts in this who are the delivering their expert lectures like Dr. K.K. Shashi, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Panda, and Dr. Praveen Kumar, Dr. Amit Kumar Jain, and also Dr. Tesh Prakash, and the Robindro L, and also the Dr. Sachin Gaon, also who will be sharing their knowledge to the participants of this program. Earlier, when the FDP means, this seminar hall is full, and we are expecting how many participants will come from different parts of India, taking pains from traveling a 400 kilometers distance from Guwahati to this place. But now that drudgery was reduced by reaching the participants to at their desktop or a laptop and giving the knowledge to them. So that is one of the systems, how it is possible. Now we are in 2020. If you go to 2 lakh years before, whether electricity was there, but people were there. 5 point, in 1850, the population of the entire world is 5.32 millions, 53 lakhs, entire globe. And subsequently, several technologies have come. Say for example, when the electricity was not there, hunter-gatherer societies. People have inhabited it, and 90% of the time they used to collect the food. So that is called hunter-gatherer societies. 10,000 BC to 17th century, if you come to that, basically agricultural societies. Food cannot be preserved if you hunt and make the systems there. And subsequently, the one tribal lady, when is bringing the food grains from the basket, has fallen down, and after 6 months she found a lot of things are growing there. The learning from the nature was one of the things we did earlier, and then that resulted into development of agricultural systems. Then 17th century to present 2000, predominantly industrial societies. During this period, James Watt invented the steam power, and then subsequently the 1899 first Thomas Alva Edison invented the electricity, and in India 1899 the first electric lamp was blown in the Calcutta, near Calcutta. And also a few of the hydropowers, as been told that several powers are there, hydropower, biofuels, likewise several things. In 1899, the first electricity came, then started the morning till evening, sunrise to sunset activity extended throughout 24 hours a day. That is the greatness of the electricity. Night time continuously, you can have the cities never sleep. Nowadays, many of the cities like Bombay never sleep because nighttime activity extended. So they throughout the night or 24 hours a day is possible. Still a long way to go. The electricity availability will be 1 kilowatt. Yes, that means 8,760 kilowatt hours power is to be available, but still we are in the progress of making that. And once that thing, several countries, some 4 or 5 countries have exceeded more than 8,760. The populous countries like India and China is still in the progress of moving that. If that comes, our life will, now also we depend mostly on the electricity. If you want to speak, listen, everything, if electricity is there. You cannot imagine the life without electricity. I am able to reach you now means these electrical systems are there. So the industrial revolutions, the industrial societies in that one, first industry 4 started where James Watt power and power looms have come up. Next industry 2, that is industrial revolution 2, then electricity was invented there. That revolutionized the standard of living of the people many folds. And then the whatever we are having this standard of living for the people from day to day, connectivity, communications, several things, moving to the other celestial bodies. Like we are not limited to our Earth only, planetary system, or the moon, landing on moon, or other celestial bodies. These all things are possible because of that we can see the reach the galaxy systems as well as the universe and omniverse and all that is. So the entire system development is basically the industry 2 revolution which made, that is electricity. Then afterwards computer and then the internet made further enhanced the systems there. But I am talking about a globe from 2000 years to that. In the process of this, at present our population is increased to 7.7 billion. Providing so many systems by manual systems are not possible. We have to go by the electrical system. Coming to the mobility, many of us we know that these societies have evolved from the industrial society to the knowledge societies at present, and learning abilities will also be increased by this electricity. My association with this electrical vehicles is a new field, even though it was invented in the Esther century. The Thomas Alva addition to the storage of batteries used for a limited extent, and then the Esther century dominated the IC engines. As a mechanical engineer, we say the internal combustion engine made the mobility. I think if you see the first industrial, first what is the World War, Second World War, made this vehicular movement faster because they want to move from one place to the other. Then these vehicles are not able to cater to the needs of that. The 1946 two-wheelers was invented, not the first car and then two-wheelers. Then subsequently the electrical vehicles, because of the pollution control is one of the things. Depletion of the fuels, various fuels like petroleum and other products depleting, and hence to the growing population, it is not possible to depend entirely on the fossil fuels. And hence we have to go for, suppose the entire Earth is having certain energy system, that is 10 power 16 watts of power. If it goes beyond that, we have to depend on solar system. Solar energy, 10 power 4.3 into 10 power 26 watts of power. Still suppose solar sun is also has got certain light. If that is over, what is to be done? We have 10 power 11 planets, Milky Way. From that also we are energy is coming there. Kardashev, the Russian astronaut, quantified 10 power 36 watts of power, means 10 power 11 times more than the solar energy can be generated by the Milky Way. That is the future. If you go into 1 century, 2 centuries beyond, this will also be available. The current scenario, if you see the electric vehicles, in India we are also getting the electrical vehicles because the pollution, if you see in the Delhi and other places, in summer, winter particularly, one day if you inhale, stay in the Delhi, it is equivalent to 20 cigarette smoking. That much effect is there if you inhale the air. How to purify the air, how to reduce the pollution. These are certain problems of the society along with the growth of various technologies to be addressed. The electric vehicles is one of the solutions for that. People are actively working on that. Electric wires are there without wires. Electricity means steam engines, steam locomotives, then diesel locomotives, then electric vehicles are there. With wires, it is there, continuously connectivity is there. Without wires, how you use the electricity there? Stored, then electricity cannot be stored, but the stored energy, batteries can be used for these electrical vehicles. This is one of the potential areas where in the future technologies coming in a big way. In India, there are a lot of subsidies are also given, many even 10 to 11 lakhs of rupees. It is not very cost effective at present, but it is technologically, it is very highly needed. And cities like Delhi and Mumbai, Calcutta metro cities particularly, they can go for these electrical vehicles, and then they, so this is growing in a big way, and then this is also an emerging technology. I can't say the technology is established totally, and hence it reduces pollution to zero. Even I remember I was working in automobile company when I was at engineer. I studied up to 10th class in a village I stayed where there was no electricity. We had to depend on the kerosene lamp and then study up to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then afterwards again wake up in the early morning so that sunlight will be there. When the electricity comes, our learning abilities will increase. Nowadays, you are all staying there and then learning whatever the things are required there. Similarly, when I went working in Hindustan Motors, we used to produce 80 cars a day. But people have to wait for say, 8 years, 10 years to get a car for that. At that time, the manufacturing is also very difficult. Then they said that pollution is generating in Delhi. We don't accept any cars or mobile with fuels like petrol, diesel. Then CNG buses were produced in Hindustan Motors there, so that pollution can be reduced. Now, that is also not for the electric cars which produces zero pollution. That is one of the greatest achievements. I congratulate the electrical faculty. It's not one man's job, it's a engineering marvelous to reduce the pollution, and then this will address in the future Euro 2, Euro 3, Euro 4, Euro 5, Euro 6, likewise it's coming up, because that whatever we are generating, lead oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, these will affect our health. As I mentioned, if 8 hours if you stay in Delhi, if you inhale the air there, it is equivalent to 20 cigarettes you are smoking. So that much of impact on human beings are there. The killer gases, we are changing in gas chambers, like that they used to call gas chambers. So that can be significantly reduced. And the mobility is also very smooth. The pickup is very high. Technical efficiencies are very high as compared to the IC engine. So these technicalities, the experts will speak in the next few days. And I wish all, I don't want to take much of your valuable time in this area. Whatever I have exposed in that, the experts, specialized lectures in a subject domain knowledge will be imparted. Make use of the benefit from this one, and then you further make the others to learn. It is limited to 200 participants only because of the system capacity there, and all the participants, I wish all the participants will gain benefit of this program. And before you all enjoy the programs with different experts from IITs and scientists and our institute and various other experts who are working in these research areas. One of my scholars is also working in the electric vehicles. Still, we are the only one objective of that. Still, we have not arrived at the concrete any what we call the research solutions. Just only last semester we started there. And this is a potential research area also. Research scholars can work on that. It gives next 10 to 20 years, not less than 20 years, 2 decades, this technology will be have a scope for the research. I don't want to take much of your valuable time. With these few words, I wish all the participants to learn the things there. You are not what you are today after 5 years. As you know, knowledge is future knowledge. After 5 days is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. 1 is any individual, R is the rate of learning, and n is the number of periods. In 5 days, after 5 days, you are not what you are today. This knowledge will definitely be helpful for you in future. Your either research, teaching, or any other activities, and hence I wish you all the best, and I congratulate for the mechanical electrical department for organizing such a program, emerging areas. Thank you very much for.
Thank you for your visionary work, sir. I really hope our researchers attending this FDP are going to contribute in the evolution of future technology, saving environment at the same time. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Santosh Kumar Tamang and request if he could express his thankfulness of the organizing committee.
Thank you. Honorable Director in charge NERIST, Professor M. Mulidar, sir. Respected Dean Student and Affairs, Professor Pardil Linfa, sir. Respected HOD Electrical Engineering and Chairman of the program. My regards to coordinator of the program, Mr. Pukambam Devachandra Singh, for his sheer efforts in coordinating this FDP. My heartfelt gratitude to Professor Mulidar, sir, Director in charge, for sparing your precious time and gracing this program with your presence as a chief guest. Thank you, sir. We thank Professor Pradeep Linkha, sir, Dean Student and Affairs, for making time for the program. Thank you, sir. We also equally indebted to Head of Department Electrical Engineering for his continuous guidance and motivation for organizing this FDP. We are thankful to all the faculty members of Electrical Engineering Department, officers, and their students for contributing directly and indirectly for conducting this FDP. We are very much grateful to Chairman AICT Professor Anil D. Sastabudde sir and AICT Teaching and Learning Academy ATAL team for their infinite support for the development of NERIST. Lastly, I thank each and everyone present in the house physically as well as virtually for making this inaugural program a success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The upcoming session would be taken over by the program coordinator, Sri P. Devachandra Singh, sir. Before that, we have an arrangement for light refreshment outdoors. Everyone is requested to kindly proceed for the same. Thank you.
इसे कोई और पढ़ा रहा है मैडम ने इसे नहीं ये बंद कर देंगे नहीं एक ही पढ़ा रहा कमर झाड़ दो इधर हेलो हेलो फिर उनको भाई लोग जुड़ गए इसमें हेलो मीट खोल के दोबारा कर ले क्या दिक्कत है साला मैं नहीं कर रहा था तुम भी करो
यहाँ आके टाइम खराब किए, छुट्टी भी लिए, फायदा क्या हुआ भाई? फायदा क्या हुआ भाई? व्हाट्सएप से तो बाहर निकल गया, अब तू जब लिंक ज्वाइन कर लिया व्हाट्सएप से, हेलो, व्हाट्सएप तो सिर्फ हेलो आदान प्रदान करने का तरीका है, रिटर्न सूचना। तेरी आवाज आ रही है? मेरी आ रही है? तूने ऑडियो खोल रखा है? खोल रखा है। ले मेरी बंद हुई क्या? तो मनोज कुमार से अटैच, मनोज कुमार से क्यों रखता है? लेकिन एक बात तो बता, ये रविंद्र मुझे अटैच क्यों कर रखा है?
Welcome back, all the participants. We are ready to start the first session. I think our first resource person, Professor KK Sachi sir, has already joined with us. Sir, can you just respond once so that I can confirm you are joined?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So first, I will give some brief introduction of Professor KK Sachi sir. Sir will be delivering a talk on the scenario of electric vehicles in India. Sir is had his basic and postgraduate degrees in electrical engineering from REC Calicut in 1980 and College of Engineering Trivandrum 1984 respectively. Has doctoral degree from Jadavpur University, Kolkata in 2000. Renewable energy and smart microgrid are the areas of his interest. He served as faculty member at NERIST, Northeastern Regional Institute of Science and Technology, Tanagar, from 1986 to 2004. As professor at Amrita Vishwa Vidyapith University, Coimbatore, from 2004 to 2000. Sachi sir was a member of AICT working group to suggest new BTech programs in 2019. Sir is presently adjunct professor in the Department of Energy at Raipur University, Assam. He also serves as Margadarshak to mentor engineering colleges of AICT since 2019. He is one of the directors of SETREN Energy Solutions, Palakat, an energy consultancy company. Sir also serves as a member of the South Asia Working Group of IEEE Village Smart Village Program. Sir is a fellow and past president of SWEM and editorial advisor of SEEM magazine, Energy Manager. Dr. Sasi also served as a consultant for renewable energy development for the past 10 years. He has been the project director of Ahalia Alternate Energy Private Limited during 2015 to 16 when they developed 8.4 megawatt wind farm. He has been the consultant to Swedish consortium that develops E40 microgrid concept, a RE project for Andaman and Nicobar Islands during 2015 to 16. He served as a member of technical committee of ANERT, Government of Kerala, for development of wind farms in Kerala from 2004 to 2015. He served during 2008 to 12 as member in R&D subgroups of Center for Wind Energy Technology, Government of India. He was awarded Kerala State Electricity Conservation Commendation Certificate in 2009 in the category of Research and Innovation. Dr. Sasi was awarded a fellowship by European Union to attend Salzburg seminar in Austria in December 2008. He also visited Uppsala University, Sweden as a visiting faculty in 2008 and Royal Institute of Technology, Stockholm in 2012. He was a member in the advisory committee of the Center of Excellence in Alternate Energy Research, Government College of Technology, Coimbatore, during 2014 to 17. Sir was the principal investigator of the DST Binova funded Indo-Swedish research project, Energy Management on a Smart Grid, using embedded system during 2011 to 14. He developed and conducted two PG diploma programs on wind energy under MOU with CWET and Indian Wind Turbine Manufacturers Association during 2011 to 13. Sir developed MTech programs in renewable energy technologies at Amrita School of Engineering, Coimbatore. since 2014 as an interdisciplinary program with focus on solar and wind energy. Sir has published more than 120 research papers, delivered more than 230 invited lectures, and carried out 9 sponsored research projects from DST, MHRD, CWT, NEC, GIAN, etc. He has produced some PhD graduates and is guiding several PhD graduates in the area of energy. Sir has edited 2 books, including Smart Grids, published in August 2020 by Taylor and Francis. Thank you so much for sir giving time with us, and I hope participants will get to learn lots of things from him. Now I would like to hand over to Sachi sir to start the session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone present there and connected to this program. Feel very happy to be back at NERIST virtually. And a special namaskar to all the colleagues and all students present. Shall I start?
Yes, sir. We are ready.
Okay. Hope you can see my screen and hear my voice. Can you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm doing that.
Okay. Thank you. So my role here in this program is to present the Indian scenario of electric vehicle development. The automobile industry in India is the 5th largest in the world. And the industry association, they expect that in another 6 years, we will be number 3 in the world. The industry is all out to support the government plans for electric vehicles. Yes, hello?
Yes, sir. You're audible. Please continue.
Yeah. So with the main intention to abate the huge import of oil. And the Government of India has a slogan for mobility, that is shared, connected, and electric mobility. The present target is that by 2030, at least 40 to 45% conversion of to electric vehicles will be happening. This is where we started the program. The country started the program. If we look at the global scenario, because to discuss the Indian scenario, it should be compared with the global initiatives, the global scenario. In 2017, this was the case. More than 50%. That China was having 1 million vehicles. And in 2 years, that is 2019, the Chinese strength in electric vehicle has grown to 2.5 million. And if you include the hybrid vehicles also, that is plugged-in hybrid vehicles, then it is around 3.3 million. Yeah. The global strength in electric vehicle, electric cars, end of 2019, it is 7.2 million. That's where we stand. And look at where India stands in this. Out of the 7.2 million cars, Indian stock is a meager 11,200 in 2017. In 18, it was 9,000. In 2017, it was 7,000. So it's progressing, but very slow progress. This is regarding the electric vehicle, that is battery electric vehicle, pure electric vehicle. When we look at the plug-in hybrid vehicles, India doesn't have any interest in that. Not even a dozen PHEV in the year 2019 in the country. As far as the sales are concerned, again, it is hardly 2019. Whereas, if you compare this with China, you can see that 10.6 lakhs, and out of the global total of 21 lakhs. The market share of our country, market share of electric cars is just 0.1%, whereas the world leader is Norway with 56%. It's mostly in Europe. Netherlands with 15%, and China is having around 5%. Public chargers, public electric vehicle charging stations, battery charging. So the public chargers, if again you look at altogether in the world today, today means in 2019, end of 2019, 8.6 lakhs of public chargers. Of that, 5.15 lakhs belong to China, whereas India is having much less than 2,000, 1,827 it is telling. So chargers, we started at it from 2016 only, very few. Started with the 25. Very slowly only it is progressing. This is the scenario. Yeah. All these statistics I have gathered from International Energy Agency, IEA, in their 2020 report. When it comes to large vehicles, new electric bus registrations by country, India's share is much less compared to China and Europe. But see, in 2018 and 19, it's increasing. Public transport, buses coming out more in number. Electric vehicle will be adding additional demand on the power grid. So the electricity demand from the vehicle, that is again projected for the year 2030. This is done by use of a model, the IEA mobility model. So that tells that in 2019, the global electricity demand for EV, that was 80 terawatt hour, whereas by 2030, this is going to be 550 terawatt hour, several times. A huge growth in demand due to EV will be coming. And that's a $1 million question. How is the nation getting prepared to tackle it? Well, IEA has given the statistics, the avoided GHG emissions, greenhouse gas emissions. Traditional, conventional vehicles, internal combustion engine, ICE vehicles, they are replaced partially, they are getting replaced by EV. So there is a certain amount of well-to-wheel emissions avoided. For 2019, it's around 50 million tons of CO2 equivalent. And it is the projected figures for 2030 is around 200 to 400 or 450 million tons. The IEA claim is here, what is written here. That is, IEA is telling that electric vehicles increase electricity demand on the grid, but it reduces oil demand and well-to-wheel greenhouse gas emissions. On one side, it is reducing the emissions from ICE vehicles, but on the other side, it is increasing the demand on the grid. How do you compare it? The question remains is this, that will not the increased demand on electricity grid raise the GHG emissions from power plants? Well, bringing electric vehicles onto the road can, of course, avoid to a great extent the emissions on the road, emissions from ICE vehicles on the road. But what about the electricity production in the power plants, in the digital power plants? Well, the emissions on the road from the vehicles, that is from oil, that's from diesel and petrol. Whereas the emissions from the power plants that produce electricity, that is mostly from coal, with the present generation mix, more than 60% share in generation in the country. So it matters. How do you produce the electricity and where do you produce the electricity for the vehicles? So that question remains. We will discuss about this question again later. Look at the battery requirement, annual lithium and cobalt demand for EV. Once again, the 2019 value that is projected for 2030. Again, a huge growth in the demand for lithium. Well, here also, lithium ion or the lithium ion batteries, different varieties, types of lithium ion batteries, they are the best among the lot available. The plot here is showing the energy density by volume versus energy density by weight. So we want to have batteries of smaller size and lighter weight. In that sense, lithium ion batteries are much better than the other technologies available in the market or being developed. But in most of the lithium batteries today are imported from China, South Korea, Vietnam, Singapore, and Japan. We do not have. The country will be heavily dependent on these foreign nations as regards to battery. We need to import it. Well, electric vehicle without battery cannot be imagined. Again, when the vehicle is charged from the grid, what's the contribution of electric vehicles to the peak hour demand? You have the options. When do you charge the vehicle? That also matters. Evening charging and then night charging. So if you are charging in the evening, of course, that will be raising the peak or demand very large. But night charging, that way has an advantage if it is during the off-peak hours. Some more studies here. This is the report from California, the Southern California. You see the evening hours during the peak hours, 5 p.m. to roughly 10 p.m. During these hours, the rise, the sharp rise in the daily load curve that you are seeing, this is because of the EV charging in the malls. To attract customers, the shopping malls, they offer park and charge. You can go to the mall, park your vehicle, and get it charged there. So all the vehicles will be getting charged at the same time during the peak hours. Well, in this plot, the global average of daily load profile, weekday average of the load profile, this one, this black one, that shows charging of peak hours, the night charging. Night charging is one option. Otherwise, evening charging, if you are doing, that is the profile that is causing huge demand in the peak hours. Vehicle to grid potential. You know, the vehicle batteries, when charged, may not be using it continuously. Only when you are using the vehicle, the battery is in use. So there is an option that sometimes when you are charging the battery from the grid, from the power grid, sometimes when the grid is in need, there is a shortage of power on the supply side on the grid. And when several vehicles are idling in different parts of the country, or the region, then connecting the vehicle to the grid, V2G, as small distributed, very small micro generators, it can serve. That's a V2G potential. in this study that's presented in this slide, together the contribution from the V2G contribution and the variable renewable energy capacity contribution during the peak hours and the off-peak hours, that is separately shown. In India, it is less than 400 gigawatts, not very significant. But then, because of the huge capacity, China is having even V2G potential so high during off-peak hours and peak hours. This Global EV Outlook 2020 by the IEA, they have made some observations and given some recommendations. One observation is this: the first one, that is electric two-wheelers and three-wheelers. This will continue to represent the lion's share of the total electric vehicle fleet, as this category is most suited to rapid transition of electric drive. So the future two-wheelers and three-wheelers, this will be concentrated in India, China, and ASEAN countries. That is one projection, one estimation by IEA. Another suggestion or observation by IEA is regarding charging. There has to be a strategic charging plan and infrastructure. Strategic charging infrastructure means, suppose we have the charging facility at home or in the workplace, then naturally dynamic daytime charging can be encouraged. So there are three things. One is the off-peak charging, then V1G, that is controlled charging. When the battery is to be charged, is getting charged, look at the grid profile. When the load, when the demand on the grid is very high, and if there's a scarcity of supply, either the charging can be stopped or it can be at a very low rate. That is V1G, controlled charging, unidirectional controlled charging, and then vehicle to grid, V2G. So these strategies, this will make, add flexibility to the potential. And then regarding the pricing, the tariff, it should be TOU pricing, time of use. Time of use means, okay, you can encourage charging the vehicles during the daytime and discourage charging during peak time by incentivize the daytime charging and disincentivize the peak time charging. Coming to the classification of EV, broadly we can classify this into three. One is BEV, or battery electric vehicle. So the vehicle will be fully powered by the drive is a motor. It will not have an engine at all. Diesel engine or petrol, ICE will not be there. This will be a battery powered motor that only will be driving the vehicle for all ranges of speed, and the battery will be charged externally. Yeah, that is the electric, the BEV, battery electric vehicle. Then hybrid electric vehicle is there, where IC engine and motor both will be present. Motor will be operated at low speed, and the engine will be operated at relatively high speed. The engine, the IC engine, it has its best efficiency at a high speed. For example, for a four-wheeler, it may be around 60 kilometers per hour. The engine gives its best efficiency. So it's starting, and for city traffic or whenever it needs to go at a less speed, the motor will be working. Not only that, the motor can charge a battery during retardation. When the vehicle is braking or when there is a retardation, there is regenerative action. The motor will move into regenerative mode or generating mode, and it will be charging the battery. So a hybrid electric vehicle will not be charged from outside. That has a relatively smaller battery, and only through regenerative charging this battery will be used. Whereas PHEV, that is plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, it has the engine, it has the motor, it has the battery. The difference is that a battery can be charged regeneratively and also from outside, external, off-board charging from an external source, that also will be there. So naturally, a PHEV is a costlier affair compared to BEV. And that is one reason even BEV is found to be costly. In India, a country like India is not showing much interest in PHEV because of the much higher cost. The electric vehicle, battery electric vehicle or the pure electric vehicle, that can be further classified based on the charger types of charging. Broadly speaking, we can divide this into three: level 1, level 2, and level 3, the chargers. But then there are subdivisions, and for each level or each type of charging, the voltage and the power rating vary from country to country. Even within India, there is continual revisions are happening. To those details we will go later. Otherwise, level 1 and level 2 are AC charging or slow charging. Here, there will be an onboard charger in the vehicle. Vehicle will be having the onboard charger. So the AC supply is to be given from the external charger. Level 1, that is charging at home or charging in the office, so slow charging. The usual power outlet, LT, single phase outlet will be sufficient for that, but it takes time, 8 hours or more, 6 to 8 hours charging time. Two-wheelers especially, and sometimes four-wheelers, if you can afford to charge with a long time charging, that is level 1. Level 2 is a public charging station. Then public charging station means not only just a charging station, also in commercial places, public charging facility in office buildings, that also will include level 2 chargers. That will be faster or medium in 4 hours. Again, it's AC supply, and there will be an onboard charger with vehicles. Level 3 is the fast charging, that is DC charging. This is an off-board charger. The charging station, this is done only at the charging station. The charging station will be having off-board charger, DC supply for this, and high power capacity and high current charging. 30 minutes. There are claims and there are efforts to reduce it below 30. The commercial vehicles, the models available in the market for these 3 categories, that is battery electric vehicle of DC charging type. Tesla has it, BMW, Nissan, hybrid, Toyota and Honda, they are having it. PHEV is with so many, BMW, Audi, Mercedes. This is the level 3 battery electric vehicles of fast charging type. Tesla Model S costing more than $69,000. Nissan Leaf $31,000. BMW i3 a crore rupees. And hybrid electric vehicle. This is Toyota and Honda you are seeing for $24,000, and in Indian price of Honda is 17.95 lakhs. PHEV is not sold in India, but otherwise BMW i8, it grows more than 3 crores rupees. Audi, that's also. I told you earlier that this is costly because it has the engine, it has the motor, it has the battery, and it has the charger. Well, the electric mobility in India started with a different motivation and certain peculiar situations. Two cases I'm showing here. The first one on the left-hand side, this is in Agra. Few years back, Supreme Court made a verdict that there should be no diesel or petrol vehicles going near Taj Mahal, the smoke, the oil vapor, it's destroying the beauty of Taj. So 500 meters around Taj, vehicles were banned. It's at that time electric vehicles appeared in Agra, three-wheelers and four-wheelers. Yeah. So here, the motivation of the purpose, it came from the pollution, the local pollution. That only was a concern. Nothing related to the climate change or global warming GHG emissions. There should be no pollution locally. That was the concern. Similarly, later in Calcutta, this is what you are seeing in the photograph. This is, most of you might have seen it. It's called a Toto or Tuk Tuk or Tuk Tuk. It's very popular in Calcutta city, even in Guwahati. So this was a replacement of the cycle rickshaws and cycle rickshaws. That was a menace on the road because of their slow motion. So here the motivation was to get rid of the slow-moving vehicles from the road, off the road. Once again, the pollution, even the pollution, local pollution or global pollution, was not a concern in all these. Perhaps later also in a similar, even though the industry and the government tell that we want to be independent of huge oil import, we want to avoid GHG emissions from the petroleum fuels used in vehicles in the transport sector. That's all true, but then Delhi doesn't want large number of petrol vehicles or diesel vehicles within that city. Why? Because of the local pollution. All those who have visited Delhi during the winter months, you might have seen it actually. It's very difficult. In winter season, it's very difficult to be on the streets in Delhi. You can't tolerate that smell, the smoke. And it's more difficult to sit inside the vehicle because the vehicle will not be moving because of the traffic jam. So that is a very peculiar catch-22 situation. But then the cities, the metro cities, they prefer electric vehicles mostly to get rid of the local pollution, the pollution locally. Instead, they are happy if these vehicles are charged from the grid because the grid is fed from the power plants located distantly. So instead of releasing the smoke and carbon dioxide in the city, let it be elsewhere. They are not bothered about the global warming or the climate change. See, CO2 emission, that has a global effect. So the real purpose of electric vehicle, bringing electric vehicle to replace internal combustion engines, that can be served if and only if the emission is avoided totally, not on the road, not in the power plant. So that means we have to look for clean fuels or renewable energy sources to power the vehicles. This aspect has not been gone into the planning, not in India, not elsewhere. In other countries, of course, they have other measures to get rid of all these things. But in India, we need to have a special consideration for this. Otherwise, things will be going worse in India, in the country. Well, the strategic imperatives in the transport sector in our country, as declared by the government, is to reduce emission. If we can reduce it by 37%, reduce energy demand, it can save 64% of passenger mobility related to energy demand. Reduce fuel security means it can reduce 156 million tons of oil equivalent in diesel and petrol. Well, all these are possible only with a special care. Just don't think that just by importing electric vehicles and making them play on our roads, we will be reducing the emissions in the country, the total emissions, the net emission. There will not be the saving in passenger mobility. Oil import will be reduced. Other things can be worsened as well. EV policy of the country. The EV policy, the major milestones I have listed here. started in 2005, the first mission plan, 2006 to 2016. And the incentives were coming from MNRE, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. In 2012, the National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, NEMMP 2020, this was launched. That's a major step. Like in 2015, FAME, faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles. FAME, this was another major step. And the automotive mission plan was revised from 2016 to 26 in 2015 itself. Then maybe the major step ahead was 2017, when the country brought out the specifications of the EV charger, the battery charger. We named it as Bharat EV charger. Bharat EV charger specifications came out in 2017, and it was revised a few times. In 2018, the charging infrastructure standards and guidelines, this came as an order. 2019, it is revised. So up to 2017, our EV was not on the road, because for the EV to be on the road, there should be charging facility. So the charger specification itself came in 2017. Yes, any MMP 2020 plan in the beginning, I had prepared this slide 3 years back for a similar program. So at that time, the targets were like this. Targets were for 2020. Today we are in 2020, and we know that none of these targets is met. Phase 1. Phase 1 is over, but still, look at Phase 1. This was to help that any MMP 2020 plan, and it targeted small vehicles. See, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and light commercial vehicles, heavy commercial vehicles. These were, and it was meant for cities, metros mainly. 795 crores was the budget for Phase 1. That is over. It developed an EV market in India. It's spread almost all over the country. And this is what the SIAM, the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, is expecting, that by 2030, 30 to 40% EV penetration will happen in the country. And this will demand 60 terawatt-hour of electricity. Phase 2 has come. 2019, the national government included in the budget quite a considerable, significant considerations from the GST perspective. GST rate was reduced from 12% to 5% on all EVs. And also on chargers, it was reduced from 18% to 5%. Not only on the components, even hiring on the service. The hiring of electric buses, that is exempted from GST. 1.5 lakh loan reduction, all these came as part of Phase 2. While Phase 1 incentivized vehicles based on electrical range and target on reduced fuel consumption, demand incentives, that is the main feature of Phase 2. So that is through incentives, 10,000 rupees per unit, kilowatt hour for the battery. And if it is in buses, means 20,000 rupees per unit. That is the incentive being provided under Phase 2. SIAM, the Society of Automobiles Manufacturers, they are very much in support of all the government policies, and the Phase 2 with the outlay of 10,000 crores. According to this is an excerpt from the SIAM's annual report. It says demand incentives and establishment of network of charging stations. These are the main components. And the focus is on public transportation and mass transportation. Incentivization is for that. Public transport, large public transport. Yeah, coming to The manufacturing part, major EV manufacturers in India, is a small list. Mahindra, Tata, Ashok Leyland, Hero, TVS, all others. Mahindra is, of course, a pioneer. You know, all of you might be familiar with these models also, E2O plus E-Supro, E-Verita. These are on the road. Tata Motors, they have the car, the Tigor, and also the bus, ultra electric. Hero has more than a dozen of two-wheelers, electric two-wheelers. Not only Hero, TVS, so many companies are having. Ashok Leyland has the bus. They came out much early, 2016 itself, and two models, Circuit S and Circuit F. Circuit S, that is for battery swapping. One difficulty envisaged is that charging the battery en route to the destination, that takes time, and that may not attract passengers. That's why battery swapping was being considered. Battery swapping stations are also started in the country, in abroad also. There's a small electric vehicle company in Coimbatore. Only two-wheelers they are making, but they have quite a large number of two-wheelers. This company is making electric bike cycle, very attractive, and this is also being produced and supplied for the past 3-4 years. Well, some more compact models of other vehicles, you might be familiar with this. Looking at the charging stations, the public charging stations, I'm showing the statistics for 2017 and 2019. In 2017, China had 2.1 lakhs of charging stations, and in 2009, 2 years, it became 5.19 or 5.16 lakhs. Norway, of course, they have a huge market share. 2017, it was 9,500. And in 2019, it's the same or bit less. But in between 2018, it went up above 11,000. It went up. But it reduced after that. The peculiar situation. Otherwise, UK, from 13 to 27, it doubled in 2 years. France increased from 16 to 27,000. Germany increased from 24 to 37,000. Japan, not much, but still 29 to 30,000. Netherlands also had an increase. In USA also everywhere, it's increasing. India is not figuring in this pie chart because it's too small. Our number is very small. EV charging standards are a few. CAN is the communication technology within the vehicle, not only EV, even before electric vehicle came into existence. On the vehicles, other vehicles, conventional vehicles, but modern vehicles were using CAN for communication. On that, the standards, a few standards have come up in the past few years, and these are in use. CHAdeMO is developed by Japan, but this is used by even European cars and buses. CCS is in Europe and US. GB by T is a standard developed by China. Tesla is using supercharger. India's Bharat is just an adoption of China's GB by T, but we have our own specifications today. Now, this order I was referring to in the policy, to this order of Government of India, Department of Heavy Industries. Electric vehicle is under the Department of Heavy Industries, and when it comes to charging, the Ministry of Power is also associated. Here, the specifications of the charger, the Bharat EV charger. This is the fast charger. Sorry. The slow charger. There are two types depending on the power. Because we found that there are two things actually. Initially, I told you chargers are classified based on off-board or on-board, AC or DC, slow or fast. But slow or fast, that classification is done here. This is a fast charger, this is slow. But that's not sufficient. Within each category, depending on the voltage, it can be again different. For example, among slow chargers, Bharat, the AC charger and DC charger both are coming. AC, that is the normal 230 volts, 10 kilowatt. DC, up to 15 kilowatt, the voltage range, battery voltage is 72 amperes. In fast charging, so these are the Bharat chargers are these two. For fast charging, we are depending on the vehicles which are imported. So the types, the CCS, CHAdeMO standards are being used, and the power is say 22 kilowatt, 50 kilowatt. These are the power ratings. The voltage is up to 1000 volts, DC voltages, up to 1000 volts they use. So all these are there, and these are not final. The standards are being modified. More about the standards and its the communication scenario that will be presented in the next session. Otherwise, I'm just giving what is the status. Yeah, this is the charger infrastructure that is followed by Bharat, India. This is the vehicle. The vehicle has the battery in it and also the BMS, battery management system. EVSE means electric vehicle supply equipment. This is where the power supply is drawn. Either the grid is connected, or if you have a separate local distributed generation, that plant is will be connected to EVSE. CMS is a central management system. And this is the vehicle owner or the operator, mobile. So communication 1, 2, 3 levels. Here it is between EV and EVSE, the communication is required. This is for charging, to guarantee safe and secure supply of energy for battery charging. Here is the real charging happening, and for that there needs to be communication. EVSE has to ask whether the battery is ready, and battery has to respond, and then at what rate, or within what time. All these will be discussed between these two and will be decided. So here, for the battery, that's where the battery management system has a role to do the communication. Then between the CMS and EVSE, here also a communication is required because it regards the options taken from the owner of the vehicle or the driver of the vehicle that can be slated for certain time slots, whether it is off-peak charging or peak charging, and in that case, what is the different tariff structures may be there, options may be there. So choosing all these things, that will be communicated to the EVSE. Accordingly, EVSE will decide the charging rate and the charging time. And this communication, this is regarding for locating nearest charging stations, reservations, billing, etc., etc. When the driver approaches the charging station, first of all, through the net, this communication network, it has to find out, the driver has to find out where exactly a charging station is available and how near or how far, and then find out whether a slot is available. You know, the charging takes time. In a petrol bunk, it takes a few minutes, if not less than that. But here, it takes a few hours, if not half an hour for fast charging. So booking, advanced booking is required, and this communication, not only the time slot, then the rate and several other related features of that. So that's why the management system will be having the user interface and the data bank with all these things, and it will be through the communication. It's essential in executing the charging of the vehicle and scheduling it. These communication facilities are essential. Government of India guidelines for EV charging infrastructure, released as a GOI in December 2018. It is telling that private charging at residence or office, this should be, it's permissible. If you have a vehicle, electric vehicle, you can charge it at home or in your office. For both cases, the DISCOMs, that is the electricity boards, they have to facilitate it. If anyone wants to have the charging facility at home or in the office, they approach the electricity board under the Ministry of Power. The Ministry of Power has given this responsibility to DISCOMs as the state nodal agency. So DISCOM is the electricity board in every state. So it is their responsibility to facilitate. And then regarding public charging stations, PCS, setting up public charging stations, anyone can do that. No license required for that. It's a de-licensed activity, and any individual or entity is free to set up public charging stations, provided that such stations meet the technical as well as performance standards and protocols laid down by the ministry. Different ministries are involved here, primarily DHI, Heavy Industry, and then Ministry of Power, and CEA, Central Electricity Authority, have put up regulations on this. Guidelines regarding development of the infrastructure, charging infrastructure, because these are the main features. Depending on this, only public will be opting for vehicles. In the absence of charging stations, how can I or you operate your vehicle? It says at least one charging station within a grid of 3 km by 3 km in a city area. And then one charging station at every 25 km on both sides of a highway. 2018 order is telling that in a city within 3 km there should be a charging station, and along the highway it should be at least one in 25 kilometers. And for large vehicles, long-range vehicles, it is suggesting that one at every 100 kilometers. That's a heavy, for heavy vehicles, the charging station should be available. The rollout plan was also discussed in this order. It's a 5-year plan. Within 5 years, the system should be complete all over the country. The first phase is 1 to 3 years. That is for mega cities where population is 4 million or above. All the facilities discussed here should be developed there. And phase 2, the 4th and 5th, the last 2 years of the 5-year term, other cities, that is state capitals, we should be getting this facility. This is the plan. This was a plan declared exactly 2 years back, but we haven't moved much on it. As far as the EV prices we discussed, 40 to 50% of the EV price is for the battery. And the drivetrain, that is the motor, it's a drive, power distribution unit, the charger, the converter, vehicle control unit, VCU, all these put together, it comes around 30 to 35%. Of these, the battery is not manufactured in India. Even the connectors of EVSE, that's also not manufactured in India. Otherwise, the drives are there. But if we are looking for full, complete self-reliance in electric vehicle, then that is a question. What will we do with the battery? No immediate solution can be found for that. Battery should have a battery management system, BMS. The battery management system is very important with a lithium-ion battery, because the lithium-ion battery is unlike the earlier batteries. Old batteries, they were having aqueous electrolytes. So fire hazard, that was not a high risk in those batteries. But that's not the case with a lithium-ion battery. It's quite possible that is, it may burn. Fire incidents are not very common, but it has happened. So that care is required, and for that, BMS has a very special role in that. The battery management system has a number of functions. First thing is monitoring the voltage, current, and the temperature. Continuous monitoring. And using these values to calculate SOC, that is state of charge, SOH, state of health, DOD, depth of discharge, resistance, battery resistance, and the capacity, ampere hour capacity. SOC, the state of charge, that based on the SOC, we have to decide, the BMS has to take a decision regarding charging, and it has to inform through the help of CMS to schedule it, all those things. So SOC is important, continuous monitoring is required. State of health is also important, because sometimes certain parts of the battery may become sick, it cannot be charged, certain cells are part of that. So that also should be monitored. Otherwise, from SOC alone, the full charge may not be available. So SOH is also requires continuous monitoring. Discharge limit. If discharge limit is very low for lithium-ion battery, but otherwise, in general, there has to be limited. Should be fully drained. Then it's not only after monitoring and computing these parameters, then it needs to be the data logging and communication. The communication part is important in a BMS, should be communicated to the outside the vehicle, means to the VSC with also with the CMS. So BMS has to manage protection, self-balancing, and the cooling. Thermal management means cooling. So battery protection, that is continuous monitoring. Through that, everything should be avoided in case of fire hazard. Everything should be avoided for safety that is required. Balancing, self-balancing means it's shown here. The different cells may be charged at different levels, and that can lead to wastage of charge and wastage and not full utilization of capacity. That issues will come. So continuous self-balancing is to be done. BMS has to take care of this while charging itself. While charging, all the cells should be balanced. And for cooling, there used to be a fan. Cooling is important in these batteries. Yes. Coming to the drive system. Electric vehicles are using these motors. I have listed 4 motors here. One is the permanent magnet AC motor. Second one is the most popular and very familiar 3-phase induction motor. Third one is BLDC, brushless DC motor. And fourth is the SRM, switch reluctance motor. Of these, switch reluctance motor, for the past 1 or 1.5 decades, it is struggling with a problem of torque ripples. There is improvement reported in research, but still it's not commercialized. SRM is not fully a commercial option as a drive motor in electric vehicles. But it has an advantage. We'll come back to that advantage. BLDC is popular with 2-wheelers and maybe 3-wheelers, but not about that. Large vehicles, so cars and buses, we cannot have it with a BLDC. It's for small motors only that will be feasible. Induction motor has proved as a drive in even in locomotives. The Rajdhani is running with 1,500 SP induction motor drive. But very few electric vehicles are using induction motor today. Whereas most of the vehicles are going for permanent magnet motors. Well, of course, the 2 examples I have mentioned here, the Tata model of 145 kilowatt and Volvo of 160 kilowatt. The Tata Tigor, that's a 60 only. So at medium level, induction motor is considered by some manufacturers, but at higher level and even at medium level, most of the manufacturers are attracted towards the permanent magnet motor. But I wonder, induction motor can be a solution, of course, at a higher capacity, at this level, at higher capacity, the size and the weight can be larger. It will be larger, but still it is worth. Why? Because of the magnet. The permanent magnet motor that uses the rare earth magnets, the rare earth magnet production is a very hazardous procedure. It is not a sustainable business. It's even that mining is creating problem in many places. This is mostly now available in China, and of course in some other countries also, but not in India. Very many issues. If we are importing it from abroad, and then the health hazards issues within those countries, and later disposal of this. When you have so many motors, medium and large, the magnets, how will you dispose it? As a waste, this will create problem later. Yeah. And that's why I said that SRM is a machine that does not contain any magnet. That is one attraction for SRM. But otherwise, three-phase induction motor is ideally suited for all these categories. Because our experience, our means the global experience with the three-phase induction motor is pretty long, more than 100 years. And the drive is also well proved. The complexity of induction motor drive is not more than that of the permanent magnet motor. So it's not the power electronics, and it's not the motor capacity or size that is making induction motor a second or a lower option. Something else in the market, some trends in the market, some campaigns in the market are making this magnet more attractive, but a rethinking from the environmental perspective, from the sustainability question, a rethinking is required there. And researchers should concentrate more on SRM in this regard, because if the pulsation problems can be solved, then that also has a commercial stake. So coming to barriers and challenges of EV adoption in India. High upfront capital cost, 2 times the conventional vehicle cost. Of course, this should be identified as the number one, because many takers will not be there. That's what the behavioral science and philosophy tells. When you need to change from some practice, existing practice, to a new one, even when there are benefits, the attraction will be less, and there will be hesitation. So the major consideration will be the cost, capital cost. Operational cost, that is not considered. If you consider the operational cost, if you consider the planet, if you consider the environment around you, if you consider the generations to come, then it could have been easy selection, but that does not happen. That will not happen easily. Number 2, lack of charging infrastructure. In fact, unless we solve this issue, it will not advance. We are having less than 2,000 chargers all over the country. So what is the guarantee that if I buy a car, I can get a charging station within 100 or even 200 kilometers? So that's a vicious circle. Then when the vehicles are sold, vehicles are less in number, why should the government promote more charging stations? That question also can be asked. That's why I said it can be a vicious circle, but we have to, the way China has done it, we have to push it up. More charging stations should be available. Initially, the charging stations that should be incentivized, because all these will be in the private sector. Individual people, they will be doing it. And then the power supply to that is altogether difficult. The planning has not gone to that level, just a grid tying only. But this coming on the distribution sector, there will be several issues regarding the power supply requirement. Charging time It's not very attractive, but we have to accommodate. We need to change our habit to adjust with that. Fast charging, I mean, not for 8 hours or 6 hours. Range per charge, that's another thing. Higher range means higher battery capacity and a higher price. Yeah. So lower range means, okay, you won't be able to reach your destination with that. Lack of manufacturing base, very few OEMs are there in India. So several of these issues need to be discussed and debated by the government with the industry, with the stakeholders, and still better solutions, modern solutions, the solutions not in discussions, efforts need to come out. There is a societal concern when it comes to EV. EV impact on the grid and the carbon footprint. I started with that, I told you. People in the in the cities, and even the government are motivated to think of EV because they can get a free air or a purer air in the cities. That is not sufficient. We should consider the whole nation, or rather the whole planet, when you consider electrifying the vehicles. Emissions from the petrol, emissions from the oil on the road, as I told earlier, if replaced by emissions from the coal, the emissions from the coal is much more than the emissions from oil. So instead of oil, when you are giving coal-produced or coal-based electricity, that cannot be a sustainable solution. This will only increase our carbon footprint. Ultimately, the global idea of EV came to reduce our carbon footprint, to tackle the fossil fuels. Oil, not only that it is costly, it will not be available tomorrow. So the emissions on one side and the fuel security itself on the other side, we have to have a permanent sustainable solution in terms of renewable energy sources. Environment pollution from the battery, yes, lithium. At the time of manufacturing itself, a manufacturing company should be having the responsibility of collecting the waste disposal, recycling. All these should come together. They are thinking today only regarding production and import. What will we do with the battery waste tomorrow? That should be already there, right from the beginning. Environment pollution from rare earth magnet. That also, I told you, there are issues in mining in the countries where it is being done. There are issues with the magnet as when it is wasted at the end of the life of the machines. All these are serious concerns. Well, just to add to this, if you consider the different sources of electricity, on the left-hand side, its safety is compared. On the right-hand side, its cleanliness is compared. And in both ways, we found that the cleanest source of energy is solar. After that, the wind. Not coal. Coal is the worst. You have other sources in between. But then, today, you look at the prices. Electricity cost compared over the 10 years from 2009 to 2019. I'm giving the cost in 2009 along this line, and along this line 2019. So what we find is that the solar prices have declined 89% in 10 years, and the wind 70%. Coal, there is no reduction in the price. Or nuclear, it has increased. What is there to consider? More size is enough to board PV charger, PV system. The area requirement, the space, the land requirement is much more compared to any other power plant. This problem we need to solve using the rooftop wisely as much as possible, and even otherwise using the land, even floating plants are there, but it has to come. That's the only source which can help us in gaining the original target. Why did we want EV? That is to get rid of the emissions totally, not to go from oil emission to coal emission. Yes, the time is almost up, and to end this department of a number of projects in the past 2 years. So this is one project, that's development and prototyping of ICT-enabled smart charging network components. Along with IIT Delhi, I had an opportunity to lead this team in Amrita University before my retirement in 2018 to 20. So these were the EVSC was developed by IIT Delhi. We added the communication system. The team at Amrita, the different communication that we said between the battery BMS and EVSC and the CMS, all these things, and using the standards dB by T and other standards for CP, all those things were tried. This will be presented in detail in the next presentation. I just mentioned this and the facility. We developed a facility. Even earlier, we had a facility of smart microgrid available in our lab. And this is the EVSC with the battery and the inverter, even for V2G purpose, the net metering, everything added to that, a few such units with the communication as per standard, as per protocol, the communication was tested by the team. Well, let me thank you all for the patient listening so far, and end the presentation here. If there are, I can listen to it.
Thank you very much, sir. You have covered quite a wide range of scenario in the various sections of EV technologies, including energy, electric vehicle stock and market scenario, charger, types of electric vehicles, energy impact, then the various policies, standards, and then the various missions, and then various manufacturers.
Yes, Chandra.
Yes, and participants kindly.
Yes, Chandra. I'm very happy if that was useful, and let me thank you in particular and your team and all my old friends and students at NERIST. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Participants, if you have any queries, any questions, any doubts, you are free to ask. Let me check in the chat box, sir. I think only one question I can see. Someone is asking, VLDC, is it also a permanent magnet motor? Someone is asking. It's a very basic question, sir. VLDC is a permanent magnet motor or not? Someone is asking.
No. VLDC. Yeah. I saw the question. It's not a permanent magnet motor. It's not a permanent magnet motor.
Hello, sir. Sir, hello.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have a question, sir. I want to know whether India can design lithium-ion battery or not. Can India design and manufacture?
No, the question is that we have developed the technology. You might remember that 2 years back, ISRO, they developed the technology and they handed it over to some manufacturers. But the problem is that the material, lithium and cobalt, the material required for the battery development, that is not available in the country. So lithium battery, because the number of batteries required, that is quite large. So that way, we won't be. That's why I was telling that whether we will be self-reliant in battery. That's a question. But the technology, we have local technology. This is developed in the country. It's available.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Rally here, sir. Rally. Sir,
Riley,
very
come on.
informative and excellent session, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you take my question?
We have got lots of information from your session, sir.
Yeah, come on. I told you.
So basically, can we compare overall system generation to utilization?
Oh, thank you.
Including data. Means how much energy basically we are producing. And in the same aspect, how much energy we are using for recharging. And then how much energy we are utilizing.
I didn't get it. Producing energy where? In the vehicle? Are you asking?
No. I'm asking the overall generation of the energy. And it is I would say,
for what?
My question is,
in the electric vehicle?
Okay, let me elaborate in detail. Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're out.
Okay. So if I am using thermal power plant for energy generation, right, sir? So if this energy efficiency of this particular method of generation is 40% or 30%, maximum 38%, I would say in ideal condition, right, sir?
Thermal generation is more than 60% of the total.
Okay, more than 60% if we are using some hybrid or some other methods.
Yeah.
So for that we are considering 100% pure electrical energy is giving to the system.
Hello.
For that 60% is considered as 100%.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Hello.
It's breaking. Your voice is breaking, so I couldn't get the question.
Okay, let me.
If you do one thing, can you please type on the chat box?
Yeah, I have typed it. So I think.
Please.
Just a minute. I'm changing the network. Okay, it may take some time. So my concern was very simple.
Yeah, tell us.
Energy we are utilizing coming from any of the source. Of course, it is generated at a lesser efficiency. And we are using it on any e-vehicle or some other purposes. Of course, if I consider this 100%, now once again, there are certain losses if we are utilizing in e-vehicles. So e-vehicles are producing how much efficiency? It varies from system to system or vehicles to vehicle or conditions of running conditions to some other, like it is slanting or some other, surfaces. So, is there any?
Rahat, I got your question.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The conventional vehicles, IC engines, that efficiency, overall efficiency, if you look at it, that is very low. At given conditions, so for example, that's what at certain speed, if you can maintain constant speed at certain levels for some capacity, it is 45 kilometers per hour, certain capacity 60 kilometers per hour. At that case, only around 60 to 65% efficiency it gives. Whereas in a hybrid vehicle, the concept is that, okay, have two drives. One is the motor, other is the engine. Allow the engine to operate for the range over which it has high efficiency. Allow the motor to operate at a lower range where it can be, its efficiency can be maintained. The motor efficiency with the drive, the motor efficiency is high. See, if it is very small vehicles, it may be less, but otherwise, considering medium and large vehicles, it can have 80%, 80 to 85% efficiency. Now, so replacing, now in the electric vehicle, battery electric vehicle, we are totally replacing the engine. So replacing the engine with a higher efficient motor or drive, that itself there is an advantage, is that this is what people are telling. But there, your question is that the electricity used for motor, you have to compare that for the engine, you brought petrol. The petrol, mining, and then transportation, there are losses in that, and some expenses, energy also used for that transportation. Finally, as petrol itself, you brought it up to the vehicle. Whereas for the motor, the electricity is produced in some power plants, then transmission distribution losses, something like 15 to 20% you consider, then the case is different. That is on one side. Added to that, the emission part I said. The emission from diesel, if you compare the emission from coal is more. Okay, because of the higher efficiency, less power is required. So emission will be less. But again, because of the transmission distribution, it is increasing. This problem is not fully studied, Rahul.
Yeah.
That is that is the efficiency. I mean, the comparison of efficiency and emission, comparing at the source level. You have to compare it, the diesel taken from its source, from the well to wheel, they say. Well to wheel, on the vehicle side you do. Similarly, from the mine to terminal, I will say from the coal mine to the charger terminal. What are the losses that should be considered? Then only a level platform comparison is possible. This is not done. This is not even in IEA study, that is not done. They have a model, but this is not fully done. So more research is required to get more clarity.
I have a small idea about it, sir. So I will share it with you in detail. I have, screenshot your last slide, which the mobile number and email ID.
Please share it. Please share it.
Definitely, sir. Thank you. So nice of you to understand my question. First of all, many times I ask many people.
Thank you. That shows that you have the right perspective. Right.
Okay, sir.
There is another question from Dr. Mala. What are the challenges of using solar as the source of charging? Yeah, Dr. Mala, the major challenge is the area. Solar panels, the efficiency is much less. The laboratory efficiency, or STC, standard test condition efficiency, they claim these days is 17%, 18%. But finally, at a site, we do not get the efficiency, say 10 or 12%. So that means, we need a larger area for production. For any vehicle, suppose common people, they used to ask this question. An electric car means you can have a solar panel on its surface on top and you run with that. No, that's not sufficient. For any vehicle, its surface area is not sufficient for photovoltaic conversion. Well, you might remember that flight aeroplane which went around the planet last year. There they used a special cell, even for rockets, for the space craft, they are using solar panels. These are very costly panels, high efficient panels. Even concentrated solar panels are available. I mean, not available, can have efficiency up to 48%, they say. But commercialization of that will take. See, I told you in the last 10 years, the cost, how much the cost has come down. Maybe in future, in another 10 years, efficient solar panels will be coming. And then it might be possible that if we have a EV charging station, when you think of EV charging station, don't just compare with a petrol pump. In a petrol pump, you just drive in and you come out sitting in the vehicle. In an EV charging station, you need to spend half an hour. So that the charging station will be having a tea club or a pub or an entertainment section. So the area required is a bit larger. If you have that much area, say 1 or 2 acres area for that, and then if you spend the whole area or the rooftop for solar, it might be possible. Ultimately, no, this is to be looked into. I'm not giving a solution, but a major challenge is the area. All other things, okay, you cannot get the sun in the night time. I want to charge my vehicle in the night time, but you cannot get the sun in the night time. That is already understood. So we need a large battery, station battery, we call it. From that storage battery, we have to charge the vehicle battery. These are the challenges involved in that. Yeah, another question is that the solar vehicles and electric vehicles, please compare. Yeah, I have already done, I believe. Electric vehicle means it's using battery. Solar vehicle means, okay, you should have solar panels mounted on that. A direct conversion can have storage as a buffer, but that's not sufficient today. With the present day solar PV technology, the vehicle area will not be sufficient. A lot of campaign is happening, like Indian Railways. They say that they have some panels kept on the roof. That is not even fetching the power to do the lighting in the train. So very less small amount of energy only is coming from that. Can we drive and charge an electric car in the rain? Electric car, I mean the battery. So rain is not a problem. See, for charging means that's on the charging station. Just like the connector looks exactly like the the pump in the petrol pump. So that can be done anywhere. That's not an issue. And then more developed chargers, you might have heard about it in Europe, in some universities they are having while driving along the road, non-contact, like through induction. The chargers are being developed. So you along that road, if you drive, then the charging will be done. Such possibilities, such technologies are also under development. What is approximate cost of charging station? It's a bit difficult question for me at this time. I didn't gather the cost as such. Well, it all depends on the capacity. If you are telling about the slow charger, the cost is much less, because at 230 volts at home, you have your 15 ampere plug point. So the charger, onboard charger, if that is there is nothing, you are only connecting to it. Only that connector is required. There is no cost involved in that. But then if you are thinking of a DC charger, there actually the converters are there, and the power rating that matters. So that runs into a few lakhs, those equipment. Is the electric vehicle the solution of our mobility in the future? I don't know. It's all of us will have to think. What's the question? What's the problem? The problem is pollution. Fossil fuel is not for the future. It's not available. Even whatever is available cannot be used or should not be used. For that, any solution you bring in, not only electric vehicle, in very many ways, you can imagine, and that can be converted to reality. So electric vehicle is the present solution suggested by the present industry and researchers. It certainly has a future, but more options will certainly come. If no more questions, then maybe we have already got into the tea time, Devchandra. So you can conclude it.
Yeah, I think there is no more question left, and I'm happy that.
And people, I will. Last question: for electronics applications in electric vehicles. Yes, you for DC charger you need data. So DC converters are required. AC/DC converters are required. That is, it is there already there. There is nothing very new. Means you need to deliver certain power. Battery charging. In the battery charger, what are the methods of the constant current charging? constant voltage charging. These two areas will be there. First, initially, when the battery SOC is less, you have to deliver at the maximum current. At that current, you have to maintain. So the continuous control that will be required in that. These are conventional technology that is available. So I'm available if, you have taken my contacts for more discussion. I'm available anytime, contact me. And let me thank you all for the interest shown here. And I thank NERIST once again.
Thank you very much, sir. I will be sharing the contact of sir, and I have also already uploaded the PPT material sir has already shared, and it will be available in the Google Classroom. In fact, it is already available, and I will also try to share the contact email address and all for sir for further clarification of any doubts or queries in the future. Okay, and thank you very much for your valuable time, sir, and also. Thank you all the participants for joining, and we will again will conclude this session, and we will meet again at 12 noon. So the link will be different. I will be sharing in the WhatsApp group, and it is also already available in the classroom. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone for joining. See you at 12 noon. Thank you.